for too long. Have you ever imagined why somebody would behave wrongly for a very long time? The man in John chapter 5 was 38 years old in a situation. He suffered affliction for 38 years old. So I've been looking at why do people stay too long in wrong behavior? Why would somebody not be able to reason and say this part has not really helped me? Every time I have a problem with this kind of behavior, with this kind of the way I talk, the way I approach matters, the way I take instructions, why will you not sit down to reflect? Then the Holy Spirit started teaching me and saying that it's because when people hear, they don't immediately sit down to think about it. They hear and act as one of them. There is the hearing for correction, there's the hearing for construction, and there's the hearing for progression. So people just think those things I heard are one of those things I'm supposed to hear. Because if you hear and reason immediately and pick the lessons from the hearing, that is when application becomes effective. So I want every human hearing me today to know that staying wrong in a long time is a sense of you not understanding the potentials of life that you have. I smoke and somebody tells me smoking is bad and I'm still smoking. You don't know the implications of not obeying that lesson. I have a way of life that is always putting me in crisis. I'm being abused. I'm being disrespected. I have been insulted. And then the only lessons I will pick in that thing is that I am being insulted. Are you seeing the lesson? And the lesson the person is taking from that talk is I'm being insulted. The person is not telling himself or herself, why will I always be in this kind of situation? Because it's that question you ask yourself that automatically tells you how to treat the matters that brings problems to your life. And a lot of people today are feeling they are reactive instead of reasoning. You are reacting instead of you to reason. What you need at that time is reasoning, not reactiveness. Reactiveness will give you an entitlement mentality. And particularly for those of people who work in offices where they keep making consistent mistakes and they receive consistent corrections, and then they keep saying, but I'm putting my best. But you can't mark your script yourself. Your script has to be marked by the person who gave you the lines of thought to be able to write on. So if we are not handling things correctly, we have more people in trouble, justifying why they are in trouble, staying in trouble, and may God help you that you have people in your life
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Gospel Manager. Here we dispense truth and wisdom by God's servant, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, bearing those heavy loads you carry and issues and circumstances that you are going through, bringing them here on the stable of Gospel Manager via questions. And God's servant, through the help of God and His wisdom, helps you navigate the path through those challenges and difficulties that you are going through. Even if it's a situation of indecision, God's servant can guide you on the basic tenets on how to make a very profound decision that you would not run into crisis in the near future. Please take our time now to send this link to your friends, your family, from wherever they are. Let them know that Gospel Manager is live, and God's servant, Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe, is also ready to take in their questions and help them dispense God's wisdom and the best alternative to go through that issue, whether it's an issue in your ministry as a pastor or a faithful steward in the ministry, or a business person, a married couple, or an intending couple, whether you are getting married in a couple of weeks or you are long married, whether you're a child who is getting difficulties in academics, whatever it is, bring in your questions, and God's servant is live and is ready to take in those questions. Now, don't forget that you could send in your questions via the comment section of all the social media platforms you are viewing this, and also via Honor TV. If you want to send in your questions, probably you're watching via the Honor TV or other platforms, please know that you could send in your questions via email, WhatsApp, or Telegram text, and the email is thegospelmanager@gmail.com, and WhatsApp and Telegram text only is +234 9047 533019. My team and I will be ready to collate your questions and share them on this episode. I'm not alone. God's servant is live with me, and I'm going to leave the floor now for him to give the opening remarks and set the course for this episode. Good morning, Dad, and welcome.
All right.
Well, thank you, sir.
Let's try to study two things about life genuinely with sincere heart: expectations and investment. People have so much expectations of what God will do, what to come out of their life, and expectations from people. Yesterday I was doing a personal study, and I said, instead of you expecting people, expecting God, and expecting life, why don't you invest your life to life? Why don't you invest your life to God? And why don't you invest your life to people? We are rather expecting people to either do things for us, to either do anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. You expect to be respected. You expect to be loved. You expect to be cared for. You expect to be given. You expect to be called. That's the life you expect God to understand. You expect God to give to you. You expect life to be positive. You expect that you don't have accidents. You don't get sick. You don't lack. Those are all expectations. What about investing your life? And we are not investing our lives. We are just making expectations. And that's why people get disappointed at the end, because you are not investing your life. You're not investing your life to God. There is no, you claim you know God, no doubt, but your investment policy is poor. You have a poor time of prayer, you have poor time of the word, you have poor time of service. Everything about you with God is very poor, but you want God to answer your prayers. You want something from life, but you are nonchalant about life. You live life very carefree. You treat life wrongly. You approach things differently. You want to do things the way you like. That's the same life you're expecting to bring out something from. Then you now want people to respect you, people to love you, but you have regard for nobody. You see, sometimes I am trying to study what man really thinks about himself. What do you really think in your spare time? So instead of us spending more time trying to expect things to change, let's invest ourselves for those desired changes we desire from life. And that's where you can see all the exchanges. They want to better this, they want to better that. They want a better man, a better woman, a better phone, a better car, a better cloth, a better this. And the person who is seeking for those things has not invested in anybody's life. Who just have blood ties that they depend on, friends, brother, family. That's all. No thorough life investment from the person's part that you can really pick. And that's why disappointment is high, betrayal is high, offenses are high, anger is high, unforgiveness is in the high side, because when expectations grow to a level, it touches your emotions. You start beginning to make vows of things that you can, I will never forgive this person till I die. Because we are supposed to be making more of investment than expected. Because if you start investing more, you will not expect much. You know, if you sow a seed, it will grow. So my perspective had to change yesterday, that anything that I want to achieve, I have to invest myself to it. Instead of expecting that it's going to happen in the future. I told you yesterday that preparation is the voice of God. And these are things that people play with. And I pray a young fellow who is listening to me will understand that you don't live anyhow. It's not a matter of whether you have a guide or you don't have a guide. You just have to make a decision not to live anyhow. And don't expect people to respect you or to honor you. Invest yourself for that. And then it will literally get to where you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I took some time out early hours of this morning, about 3, to just review myself, my actions, how prepared I am for the event coming up, how people think, how I think, how we relate with life, and some of the excuses that people give as to why they are not giving in their best for things. And one of the things I observed is that people build expectations, just like you said. People build expectations, and sometimes these expectations are fueled by personal gains, and so it begins to bring in some level of lousity, especially people who are in a system or in a family or in a location. So they begin to feel that they need a fresh start. Now, what I was pondering out, why do people feel they need a fresh start? And why do they think that a fresh start should be out of the confines of the work that they do or the place that they are? You hear some people beginning to say that they want to go out to Lagos, they want to go out abroad, and all those things. And from what you have always taught us here on the Gospel Manager and also in the Honor World, is that your next job is your previous one. And you can't claim to have something better outside what you have, and you cannot do better outside than what you are doing inside. And so the question would be, and I'm saying this because of some of the questions I also received to ask this morning in the Gospel Manager, is why do people feel that motivation to work should come from outside? Or number 2, like the person was trying to explain to me, why do people feel that they've lost motivation for where they are, and they are just where they are because probably, maybe in a case that we are familiar with, they like the man, they just like the church, but their input, their passion to do more is dead?
You have to bring the scenario of a dead man. What do you expect from a dead man? The only expectation from a dead man is to bury him. And what motivation does a dead man need? And what motivation does a seed that is planted to bear fruit need? No. All that seed needs is to grow. You see, the problem is having an understanding what you need to build. It is a building mentality that differs from others. If you have the mentality to build, that changes everything about your life. I was listening to an interview yesterday about the chief of staff of Donald Trump, and she said, I am a chief of staff for the people who I'm asked to lead. I'm not the chief of staff for Donald Trump. So you see, people understand why they are given an assignment and what they have to do to build it. And it's the building mentality that a lot of people don't have. And when you have a building sense of doing things, it changes everything about your life. I've never seen myself being encouraged by anybody before. All my life. So because I just feel if I'm in a team, I'm there to be a part of it. Before I start, I'm involved already. I don't start for what you give me. I have a father in the Lord. I'm not with him because of what he will give me. I'm involved in that family, and my involvement is for life. So it depends on what you are doing and who you are. It's sometimes people have very poor nature. Their natures are very poor. They don't see why they should do things right. They just feel things should be done at their pace, and you don't do things at your pace. You don't do, and that's why you must be sensitive with life. Because sometimes we are trying to define things by what we hear and what we see people do, rather than defining things by where you are going to. So the where you are going to is more important than what you feel and see today. Because how somebody who knew me many years ago will not believe I'll be here. They will not. Even the person I serve won't believe I'll be here. So the persons I know today will not believe I will know them. So you see, I have this ownership mentality about myself. If I'm involved in a team, I must work, make sure it works. If it does not work, I won't be satisfied. It must work. That is me. And I will not be depending on the person who gave me that thing for it to grow. I'll make sure I grow that system myself. Genuinely, I don't have secrets. I don't have things. I don't have, whether by conversations, or by work, I don't have. But I don't see why those things are there. For example, you are here and I want to say something about you. I'm telling you straight. The only thing you do is to be offended. There's nothing else you do to me. That's all. It's either be offended or you take my corrections or you use it. But saying I can't tell you, I will. So it has to do with a mentality of I am here to build. So the man who is building does not depend on anything from you. He wants to build. How much money will you offer Nelson Mandela to stay in prison for 27 something years? He wanted to change a scenario of a country. That's the mentality that people should have. People don't have that anymore. And what they are fighting for is a well-being of life. That's all. Ask any person now, what are they fighting for? Well-being. And well-being does not come because you're earning more. It comes because you are built. Not anymore, belt. It's when you build, you rest. It's not when you earn, it's when you build, you rest. And people don't know that. When you build, you will rest. But when you earn, you will finish it. And this is the life that people live. I see them live it. And they keep living it. They keep living it. They are multitasking. They have 15 jobs. I'm laughing at them. It's what you build that will last for you, not what you earn. Small money. It's a small man's mind. Very small man's mind. And when you have a small mind, you think you're making money. You're not making how much? Highest 200,000, highest 400,000, highest, if it goes better, 1 million. Are those monies? So we don't understand how life works. We need to start having interviews with people who have made monies and ask them how they built. They won't tell you anything than they built. They believed in the process. They will tell you where they slept from the beginning and how long it took them and how they needed to give up, how they refused to give up, how everybody around them knew that they were failures, but they took the decision to succeed. So if you want to really become a great person in life, not an ordinary person, you have to change your approach to life. Whether you're a gate man, be serious, there are people here who are working now as security officers. There is one fellow in that place who I keep seeing is going to be a destiny person. Because of the way he does his things. He's very committed to his job. And those are the habits that grows a man's life. Committed and sincere. He's not looking for monies. A lot of people today are just looking for things that are not there. And that's why they will end up living a common life. Very common life, common result, common everything. And may God help you. You went and got yourself involved with a bad family or a bad wife or a bad husband, you are finished. Who is comfortable with one kind of mediocre kind of life, you are dead. Who can challenge you to do better, who can observe you and tell you, you are not doing well. Oh. Who is comfortable with you, and you are finished. Because you need to know that life must be built, and it takes time to build. If you want to succeed, you must build it. And if you're not willing to build anything, you want to jump here, jump here, jump here. All these fast arenas for money making. Why is it coming up? Life is trying to destroy us, because at the end of the day, not everybody will succeed like that. Because at the end of the day, you end up running into the hands of the legal system of this country for the rest of your life. Court from one court to the other court to the other court to the other court until you die. So why not sit down and develop a system for a lifetime that when you look back, you are in a system of vision that you built yourself. You succeeded, or you are with a team that built it, and your name will be recorded in the archives of history that I am the part, this is my role, I played it. And you don't take away a man who plays his role, even the air to fight you. I've always said it. The man who plays his role, you cannot take away. If you deny him, the earth will deny him. He has invested. Investments don't lie. So let's be careful with today's lack of interest to do something genuine in a place. And let me end by saying this. It won't take anything to build. It just takes your mind to decide to build. You don't need to own to build. People want to own before they build. No. Anything you're involved in, build it. Keep your name there. Today people are waiting to have something before they do. Anything you do, keep your name there. You sweep, keep your name. You paint, keep your name. I'm not talking on disorders. Anything you do with life, keep your name. You are leading people, keep your name. Everything you do, keep your name in it. You're snapping people, keep your name. You're videoing, keep your name. You're typing, keep your name. You're a security officer, keep your name. Anything you do, you are singing, keep your name. See, that thing you are doing to yourself is what life will look at and recommend you tomorrow. If you go to the person I serve and is asking, who is the son who blessed you, who do you think he will call? It's me. Even in his angry state, it's me. But who do you feel God should give more money? Who will he call? It's me. Because he knows if I have the money, I'll give it to him. He knows. So, even in a bad state, the person who you serve or who you are blessed will always call you. So this thing is not all about anybody, it's your life. And you must look for a way to make sure you keep a record that is lasting for yourself.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, the pathway to Rehoboth with the subtitle Excuses is a very profound teaching by God's servant that I believe that all of humanity must pay attention to. When he gave an analogy of a story that happened a couple of years ago, his first encounter with Bishop David Oyedepo, it was eminent and also evident that indeed excuses are man-made reasons from men. He also said that excuses, as he described it, is looking for a bailout in the place of encounter. And he also highlighted to us three basic things that excuses does. Number one, he said excuses destroys our capacity. Number two, excuses destroys our relationships. And number three, excuses also destroys our divine privileges. Now we're going to ask this question to God's servant, even though we know that excuses is an arch enemy of wealth, a stumbling block to growth, and a forerunner of poverty. But why is man full of excuses?
It's an environmental problem. We like to perch around people who have succeeded. We don't like to see ourselves building as they have built. It's man's nature. I've always said that you will do well if you allow yourself to do well. That allowance is when you refuse to say no to difficult situations. So a lot of people don't allow themselves to say no. They always accept everything that happens to them. Everything that comes around their life is a distraction. Even to things they hear, things they see, it distracts them. Someone is having a problem now, it will tell in their countenance. Family member is sick, it will tell. Every pressure that life, even when they are not supposed to be the ones to carry it, they carry it. So you see, life has been patterned to distract us. But the choice is yours not to be distracted. I have things in my life that if I tell you there are things I have as issues, you see me getting up every day, give instruction, you will not have these problems. You will not know that I have it. But I have it. But I've never reacted on anybody because of that. So it's you who defines how you act to life. If you choose to succeed, fine. Want to be a failure, fine. Because I've never seen any man who excuse himself that is excellent in life. So when you excuse yourself, you will never be excellent with life. So every outstanding fellow you see on the earth accepted the challenge and came out victorious. So when you are always backing down, every time they look at you, you have one excuse to give. I spoke like this because I am this. I am doing because I am this. I am this thing, that thing you're doing to yourself, to me is you are an infant, you are not mature, you don't have a drive for life, and you will never succeed. Because there is no success without challenge. And that challenge is what defines if you will succeed. And if you are not accepting those challenges, how do you not succeed? If I didn't accept to come here, I will not be sitting here. The challenge was before my face. Before I came here, I had to challenge myself to come. So I can sleep for 20 hours. It's my sleep, it's my bed. But if you are busy, you won't do that. If you know what you want to be, you won't try that kind of life. I can stay on my phone for the whole day. I can. I have a good phone. But if you have things to do with your head, you are a man who uses the brain to think and write, you will be doing that to yourself. You will not, because the brain and the phone are two different things. So you'll be documenting your thoughts, arranging profiles, building, putting blocks together. That thing now will never be a part of you. You will even forget that you have eaten. Anytime you see yourself always hungry, it's because you're not busy. Hunger comes when you're not busy. You recognize that you're not taking breakfast because you're not busy. It's 12 o'clock, I'm not eating lunch. You are not busy. So all of those things is because you are not being driven by an assignment. Nothing is driving your life. Everybody can be your friend. Everybody can call you on phone. Anybody can talk to you. Anybody can have conversation with you because you are full of excuses. And you know something about life? Life gets to you as you get to life. If you're lazy, lazy people will come around you. If you're a liar, liars will come close to you. If you're serious, serious-minded people will be attracted to you. It's a choice that you make for yourself. If you're stubborn, you attract this kind of person. If you are uselessly using your tongue, this kind of person will be attracted to you because that's the nature you have built for yourself. If you are very excellent in doing things, you see people who are like you, attracted to you. So let's be careful. The more you excuse yourself, the more you damage yourself. So let's get out of it. There is nothing, man is where he is today because of excuses, not because of Satan. Satan has nothing to do with us. Man is where he is because of excuses. Nothing more, nothing less. Excuses. That's just man's problem. But if you can handle that with strong decision making, this earth will be a very peaceful place to stay. Why do you steal? It's excuses. Why will a man steal? Is it an excuse? Why will you lie? Excuses. Nothing more, nothing less. So I pray that the wisdom of God is going to help all of us to trade life better. Trade life better. Life can be lived better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we asked this set of questions because we had two very disturbing questions. I call it disturbing because here on Gospel Manager and also in the honor world, we have been graciously taught the light of truth as regarding this matter. But I'm going to ask it so that God's servant can help our viewers and also all those watching the Gospel Manager across the globe so that they could be better equipped with the right wisdom, especially regarding this issue. Now, this question is from Noe, and she says, "Good morning, Bishop. Please, is it wrong to leave a church because of a toxic leadership, even if I was once loyal?"
What people define as toxic, I don't understand. If you are not doing what is right, you are supposed to be corrected. To me, correction is not supposed to be toxic. And what you call toxic, I don't really understand what toxic means from my layman of viewing things. If you are in a place and if the church is trying to kill you, I should say, but I don't see any church on the earth that will plan to kill anybody. That's from my perspective of life. Even as bad as anybody is, nobody will wish you. Anybody that wishes you dead is somebody that you are competing with, and everybody lives in competition. So when you look at the word toxic, what that environment is producing, some people call something toxic when they have striving issues around them. They say it's toxic. People are striving with you. You don't strive now. Why are you striving with them? Somebody's not talking to you, so why are you not talking to the person? I was coming this morning, the security man was bending his head. I said, "Chris, how are you?" And I walked past. I'm the one who is expecting to be greeted. He didn't see me, so I greeted him. So the problem is we're expecting people to do certain things. That's the problem. Why is the environment toxic? Because you yourself have issues with yourself. You have issues with yourself. You have some issues with yourself, because to me, a relationship is for two. It's not one person does not build a relationship. It's for two. You can bring bad energy. I may not accept your bad energy. You come here, I say no, I can't take that. So when you bring a bad energy to me and I don't want it, it won't get to me. So why will somebody's actions become your problem if you really know what you are doing in an environment? So because we try to always paint the church in a bad light. Very bad pictures about the church today. And to me, I don't know why people are doing that. But I understand that it's the end time. And it's the church that is going to be attacked. But a church can never grow that way with a toxic environment. No, it's a personal thing, not a church. It's one person in an environment who does not know how to manage it herself. So that should not be described as a church. That should be described as somebody's attitude in an environment. So if somebody has an attitude in an environment that is not helping others, then those who are mature should help it. If you know what to do, why not behave well and solve the problem? But rather, we either get to see that people don't do well. Like I keep saying that the things I can't solve, you beneath me, solve it. The things I don't know that I cannot arrest, you that know, you do what? Arrest it. But don't let it become a problem that I need to end up solving, because you were there, you saw the situation, you allowed it, and it happened. They now become a church crisis. Any event in church is not a church crisis, it's a personal crisis. There is no church crisis here. It's a personal crisis. And nobody should tell me that I'm leaving a church because of a personal crisis. No. Then Jesus would have left the cross, because that was a deeper sacrifice to pay. So you living in a church is your personal decision, not a church crisis. That is your level of maturity in serving God. So sometimes let us understand that it's a level of the people that is walking here, not the church. So if you're mature enough spiritually, why will you have issues in church? You're not mature. I was a young fellow in church. My mother had issues with the pastor. I refused to leave because I had a encounter with God that was my church. My biological mother had with the pastor. Personal reasons. Which to me, if you look at it logically, My mother was right. I will not stay and say the pastor was wrong, but my mother was right. But I checked, God showed me in a vision that was my future. So I choose the future than choosing logic. So your spiritual maturity is what matters, not all of that. So if you are in a toxic environment, you are the one that is creating that for yourself. You can have a bad woman and still be a good husband. You can have a bad wife and still be a good husband. You can have a bad husband and still be a good wife. You can have bad parents and still be a good child. You can be good parents and have a bad child. So let us understand that these things is our problem, not the church. The church has never offended anybody. People are the ones offending themselves and branding the church negative. So let's know that there's toxicity cannot be found in the church. But we preach Christ. If it is found, people have refused to accept Jesus and truly be born again to help publicize and represent Jesus the way Jesus is supposed to be represented. And I pray that you can stay anywhere as a Christian as long as they are not calling Satan. The only time Jesus said we should run away from a place is when the name of God is not professed. Anywhere they profess Jesus, Jesus should be honored there. So if the actions of man get to you, you are not mature. But why will you leave a church? I keep asking, why will you leave a church? Except you want to go and start your own ministry. That's the reason why you should leave a church. Except you want to go and start your own church. That's the only reason why you should leave a church. There's no reason for you to leave a church. And that's why you can easily change a Muslim than change a Catholic person. You cannot change a Catholic. If you change a Catholic, you have affected their life so much. You cannot change a Catholic from following you. You can easily preach a Muslim to be a Christian, but you cannot turn a Catholic to be Pentecostal. Because they have traditional beliefs about church. And they have never spoken nonsense about those churches. And I know some of the stories that come out from the top there. Several. I've treated one myself. I have sent the lady back to go and reconcile. So it's just the people and the way they are not mature spiritually. So it's affecting the image called church. And I pray we handle this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And there's a lot of wisdom dispersed here in this episode. Just before we take in the second disturbing question that, in my perception, is disturbing because of the level of knowledge we have here on the Gospel Manager and also the Honor World International. But also we recognize that we have new viewers and these topics also must be readdressed until people get to know the truth and the right counsel in some of all these questions that actually come up. Now we are 16 days to the next colorful theme is Rehoboth 2025. Now we have Apostle Haggai Ayuwo, who is going to give us his personal invite and we'll be back after his invite. Stay tuned.
Good news. I'm Apostle Haggai Ayuwo, the lead pastor of Great Gospel Power International Church. I'm here to introduce to you the most colorful thing in the city of Asaba is Rehoboth. Rehoboth 2025 is at the corner. Hallelujah. Yeah, this Rehoboth is not just a meeting, but a gathering of eagles, a gathering of champions. 2 years ago, I was at Rehoboth, and the theme was bigness. After that meeting, my mentality was changed. I was shifted to the next realm. From that day, we begin to record bigness in our meeting. Last year was beyond greatness. Wow. I can testify that we are enjoying greatness in the classic realm. And this year theme is mind-blowing. It's titled Level Above. Hallelujah. Level above. I see God set to lift you beyond every form of limitation. I see God breaking financial bankruptcy in the lives of people. I see God shifting men from the peripheral level to the echelon of their life. Hear this. great men of God will be storming this meeting. My father, Papa David Ibiome, will be ministering in this meeting. Papa Matthew Ashemolowo will be ministering in this meeting. Bishop David Abioye will be ministering in this, and also Apostle Lawrence Achodume will be ministering in this meeting. It's happening live at Honor World International Church, Obozo Road, along Obozo Road, right in the city of Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria. You can afford to miss this great meeting. I joined God's servant, Bishop Maxwell Golden Egbe, and his beloved dear wife to welcome you all to Rehoboth 2025. Please save the date. The date is 7th to 14th of September 2025. Heaven is set. I am set. And I want you to be set. God bless you. Looking forward to seeing you. It's Rehoboth 2025.
In the words of God's servant, he said, when God prepares, you must attend. And Rehoboth event is an event prepared by God himself to take his church and his people to dimensions that are above, according to his word in John 3 and verse 31. So we can't wait to receive you. God's servant is also excited to receive you as the host pastor and to help you experience what it means to enjoy fellowship, the undiluted word of God, awesome worship and praise by the honor crew and several anointed ministers of the gospel, and lights being dispensed by revelation of his word by his servant Dr. Maxwell Golden Egbe and the area of God's generals as Apostle had listed in that video. Don't forget, camping starts, and make your registrations right on time, and feeding and accommodation is taken care of. God's servant is so benevolent to ensure that you are properly taken care of and pampered whilst you are at Rehoboth City. So make it a date with us, September the 7th to the 14th, Sunday. It's going to be an amazing time. 2 sections every day and the breakout section at noon. The first section is 7 a.m. and the evening bell starts at 4:30 p.m. And there's a special Rehoboth crusade. It's free gifts for the first people who will make it within the hours of 10:30 to 11:30, and also from 2:30 to about 3:30. Free gifts will be shared amongst those who would make it through the Honor World International at this time. God's servant is ready. Heaven is ready. But the question is, are you ready? But we know you are, because you are going to join us. God bless you as you do so, in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Now the second question I spoke about just before we had that video is something that people have oftentimes used as an excuse to go against the truth and scriptures. And this one comes from Mr. Nwokoma. He says, good morning, sir. Please, this issue about tithe paying, is it okay to quit is it okay to pay my tithes from my personal income or my corporate income? And then the second question he asks is it okay also to quit a well-paying job that makes me miserable for a calling that pays less?
You see, one of the things that I don't want to be a part of is trying to get credit from the public. And people do that a lot. Validations from people, and it's as if we are tapping into the minds of men. We live for what people will say. I don't live like that. I don't. The person asking about tithe should read the Bible for himself, and he knows what the Bible talks about tithe. Then the only word I would say is that doing what is in the Bible is not to impress God, it's to bless you. And if you want to do anything that concerns God, Do it because He's God, and do it because it's a part that you are supposed to do. God does not need to do it. Whether it's personal or corporate, if the Bible said so, to pay tithe, pay it. Whether it's in the Old Testament or New Testament, pay it. All those discussions, we don't, let's, how many people have sat down to discuss lovemaking? The man's organ in public. Why are we always discussing things in the Bible that we're supposed to take serious? How many of us have discussed why did God create the organ of the man? Why is it this way? Why are we not discussing this like that? Because they are private. And the same thing, all of these things we're discussing about, these are personal, private instructions that God gave to us to carry out. Because it is attached to money, so it's not a conversation. These are very personal conversations. Personal encounters people have with God, very scriptures, and to apply. So for the other one, whatever decision you take should be at the guide of the part of God for your life. If the decision you are taking is the part of God for your life, fine. But let it not be that man's interest and motivation is in it. Make sure whatever decision you are taking is not because you are dying and you're looking for food to eat, but because it's your life. This is the path God says you should take. Then you follow it. I will support that idea. But if it is for circumstances and for life, please go and pray. Because whatever relieves you of pain today will not relieve you of pain tomorrow. And we should know that life has these phases. Build your faith with God, not with men. Because man will definitely one day change from you. But your faith should be built with God heavily involved in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so we'll take this one from Debian, God knows. He says, good morning, Bishop, sir. Please, my question to you this morning, and this is from Telegraph. How do I maintain integrity in a market full of dishonest competition?
It's your personal choice to make. Samuel was with two dishonest boys, and he was honest and became a prophet in the process. So the environment only shows you that you can either change or be like them. But saying that an environment has to change you is because you enjoy being changed. So no matter how corrupt the marketplace is, there are still revenues to not be corrupt. If there are bad fruits in one place and there's one good one, that good one will be singled out. So choose to be the good one in a bad system. Choose to be one of the good ones. So why will you choose to be one of the bad ones? So make the choice. I've always said to people, if they are looking for a truthful person, it should be you. The person who works hard, it should be you. Somebody who is loyal, it should be you. The person who speaks the truth, it should be you. Somebody who can be trusted in a system should be you. Why will you be the one that they will not be trusted? Why will you be the one that somebody will feel is a liar? Is like this, is like that. No, be the one that should be trusted, is faithful, can be blessed. So that's a choice you make all the time. That you should be somebody who someone can depend on. Even in your sleep, they should call you and come out. They know this is who you are. So the choice of being corrupt is not by people's action, it's by your decision.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, the choice of being corrupt is not by people's action, but your decision. So this one also, on Telegram also, it says, I'm enjoying this program and I just want to say a big kudos to the Bishop. Thank you for the platform. And also, my question for this morning is something that I have been battling with for some time. So, sir, please, how do I bounce back after a failed business that left me in huge debt?
Choose the right, go to a right company and get a better relationship, connecting to what you do, and do your best to hear wisely, and you're out of it. Taking decisions that you will not repeat an error is a greater part of wisdom. So when you do that, you'll be out of it.
All right, from WhatsApp, we have a question from D. It says, how should a leader respond when they find themselves correcting others for the same very shortcomings they are also struggling with? Also, isn't it a sign of hypocrisy when correction is one-sided, especially if, instead of receiving correction with humility, the leader resorts to labeling or attacking the person? What would you say is the true mark of leadership in this case? They are also guilty of the same crime. From D.
We have a nature, and the nature is to be very defensive. Every man has it. I have it. We tend to be very protective. And then that's the reason why people don't learn, because they are protective, And when I look at a fellow and I look at the person's approach to correction, always trying to throw the blame on people, so this person will not learn. The easiest way to know somebody who will not learn, somebody who is a leader and a superior corrects the person and the person throws the blame at the people beneath, that leader will not learn. And also the person who is serving a leader, who's always spoken to, there's always grumbling and complaining, that person will not learn. I don't want to know what that leader is doing if he understands that it's an example. But I would not want you to get an understanding here that people can talk anyhow. No. Sometimes people try to blame instead of learning. And that's what we do. We try to blame people. We're not learning. So, to balance this thing, as a leader, you should understand that your life is a lesson. The day you started leading people, your life is a mirror. Where you live, how you eat, how you speak, how you behave is teaching others. So if you're troublesome where you live, you are passing a message to people. They will be seeing that aspect of your life when you come to talk to them. You're a troublesome person. Now, but that's because you have refused to know that you are a lesson. Because there is no way you can be correcting people over what you do and they will hear from you. They will only learn from what you don't do. By your good actions, they will learn faster. By your wrong actions, they will look that act as a defensive tool. So let's be careful as leaders. And as for those we are leading, stop seeing error. If the lesson is right, take the lesson. If the corrections you are being given is a lesson, take it. Because you shouldn't be making the leader's mistake. And don't say because he's doing it, I'll do it. No. That's the leader's mistake. You have your own life to live. Don't choose my mistake and say because I made it, you're going to make it. That's foolish. So learn that in your time of leadership, I won't make these mistakes I see here. How can my leader come and don't know how to coordinate people? When I get to my own time, I won't be doing this kind of thing. So you are learning from the errors of a leader, so that when you become a leader, you won't make this, and you are taking note of the mistakes. But saying you're going to repeat them, or you are offended, because please know that I may make mistakes, but I will see your own more. And that's one thing people should learn. I may be doing that same thing you are doing, but it's your own, I will see more. And I'll be very quick to correct you. Why I am a victim of the same thing. So it takes wisdom on my part to know that this thing I'm doing it to. That one now is me being wise to know that I am doing this same thing I'm talking to people about. Let me go and change. It takes a lot of maturity and wisdom to know that I am repeating the same error. But you that is a subordinate, please don't use any leader's weakness to defend yourself. If the corrections are right, take them. Learn from the error so you don't make the same mistakes. Because if you allow them to train themselves and you defend your own errors and say because you are doing it, I'll do it. I'll do it. We don't have the same life. I might have succeeded in doing those things and come out of it. You may try yours and get into crisis. You may go try the same thing I did wrongly and get into a lifetime crisis. So when you have a privilege of being rebuked, accept it, but don't refer it to my errors or to anybody's error. And lastly, if you are the leader and you are leading people and you make too many mistakes, be wise to learn from your errors. Seek for counsel. Seek for rebuke. Go and seek for rebuke. If you are too proud to seek for rebuke, rebuke yourself by sitting down to take note of the things you do that is reproaching your leadership, because there are things we do sometimes that reproaches our leadership. So you must learn where it's coming from, how you get there, and how not to get there anymore. Anybody called man has limitations. Everybody has limitations. So know how to handle your limitations so they don't become a pattern and create a system that will affect your effort in life. So it's very important we deal with that.
Thank you so much, son. I will take the last question for this episode. And this one comes from Mr. Emeka. He said, "Good morning, Bishop. I attended church whilst I came from my in-laws' child dedication, and since then I have been so profoundly in love with your teachings and your person. I follow the teachings sometimes online, and I was part of the stream last Monday. And sir, please, I just want to get your views on the state of our nation, especially as we are preparing to 2027. How do we heal our nation divided along religious and ethnic lines?"
We should be talking about how do we put the right hats on people, because if you ask a 14 years old teenager the state of this country, what will the person tell you? Hardship, that's all. That's our state of the state of the nation is not hardship. We need to understand that what we need is a reformation of the mind. People are not reformed in the mind, so that's where the reformation should start from, the mind. The things our beliefs have to change. If the belief system changes in this country, this is going to be one of the greatest nations on the earth. So how do we get that done? It's simple. Let us start changing the cultures that go out to the media. The media is the one feeding us so badly. So the media should be handled right. Then we now go back to the foundation of the church, where we start bringing Jesus as a model character to live with. Then take it to our homes. We do the same thing. And when we build from there, then go to our offices, people having an understanding that they are messengers to walk and to build. These are very many factors that will start the progress of a nation. Then we'll now bring into the value of human capital, which to me is very important. If people are not valued, they won't do well. Then from there to human capacity, how trained are our people? Are they properly trained? Some people will give jobs, they don't know anything about those jobs. Are they properly trained? So we go from human capital to human capacity, then to human competence. How competent are these people? Then we now go to human faithfulness. How faithful are they? They now go to human honesty. How honest are people? And we now go to human relativeness. How relative are we with people? Do we know how to relate with humans? Then we now deal with human communication. All of these factors are very important. Then now deal with human damage control. When there's a crisis, how do we damage control the crisis? They will not end by human management, how to manage the human, manage the structure. And all of these sectors will bring the breeds of a bordered nation. So, and when I mean bordered, it means the framings will be so solid that there will be no penetration. So these are the fabrics that we must start sewing to achieve a better. And then for 27, when we build that, then we'll not choose healthy minds to lead us. Leaders leaders, healthy leaders, leaders who see the people more than themselves, leaders who want to sacrifice for a country, then they should be above 50, from 40, 50. Then we cut down the age of leadership now to 40, 50. Burned hearts with energy and vigor and strength. Barack was 44. Then they start to lead us. In the next 10 years, we become one of the brightest countries on the earth. So these are my contributions to that thought. And I pray it helps anybody who is keen to listen.
Do you know that you can be a part of the Honor family from wherever you are? Just keep tabs on us on social media and follow God's servant on all platforms, and genuinely, continuously pray for the ministry, pray for God's servant. Be a committed streamer from wherever you are. Send us messages, and our reach out team will also keep in touch with you and your family. God's servant is so open-hearted, willing to accommodate you from wherever country, wherever tribe, ethnicity that you belong to. He's willing to be your pastor, to be your guiding light, and also to lead you to Christ and make sure that you are in Christ. So send us a message today, and we'll respond and build that relationship with you from wherever you are. Now note that this is beyond a family. It's building a generation, the takeover generation for Christ and his kingdom, as we prepare ourselves for the greatest discovery of all time, Jesus himself. All right, Gospel Manager will gradually be coming to a close in terms of this season, and we will resume just after the Rehoboth Convention. So the wrap-up edition would be for this season will be next week, and God's servant will also heartfully give us his prayers to close the season, and whilst we anticipate the season ahead. Now, this episode is coming to a close also, but before I do that, I would like to invite you especially for our Sunday service this Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025. The service starts at 7:30, and ministering live will be God's servant himself as he continues in the teaching on the pathway to Rehoboth. The last service was amazing as we discussed on excuses, and last Thursday we had discussed on joy, and we're anticipating what he will unfold to us this Sunday. So if you are as excited as I am, then please join in by 7:30 a.m. Sunday morning from wherever you are across the social media platforms and the streaming platforms that you are actually streaming this episode live. And should you come across this when we are offline, note that you could also reach out to us, and we will also reach out to you. Don't forget, if you are around the city of Asaba and you haven't attended the Honor World International, this is another opportunity to be part of the experience. Our hands, our doors are open to receive you and your families, especially our folks who have not given their lives to Christ. It's an opportunity to do so whilst you make it to service. I'll leave the floor now for God's servant to give his closing remarks and also bless us for the weekend.
Now, why will anybody sleep during the day? Because he walked effectively at night. Am I right? But if somebody slept at night and sleeps in the day, what's the problem? The answer is the person is not busy in the mind. Because if you are busy with your mind, and I'm saying this because when you watch a movie, you don't sleep. But you sleep when you read. You sleep when you hear. And why do you sleep when you hear and read? Because the true essence of knowledge is hearing and reading. Those two windows is the empowerment of a man. So life brought you to a place where all you are doing is your eyes to see, to watch. A man who is watching a movie and a man who is listening to a message can easily sleep listening to a message. than sleeping watching a movie. He can sit for 2 hours watching the movie and he doesn't sleep. But the message in 15 minutes he will sleep. Why? Both things you are watching, which one is life-changing, is the message. The problem is, before you do anything, check why you are doing it. The drive over the thing is what keeps you awake, not the thing itself. So if your drive is not there, you will sleep. So sleep is a product of lack of drive. Even your night sleep will be affected if you have a drive. And I really want to tell everyone, why you sleep is not because you are tired. It's because you need to take some time out to rest your head towards the next thing you want to do. Rather, people are sleeping because they are tired. And that's why you get up every day. Some people get up from sleep tired. You slept, you got up tired. Because your mind is not driven for anything. Because this body responds to a drive. When you are lazy, it affects the flesh. So it is your drive that gets you in the day that you see yourself, your mind is busy, you want to achieve something, you want to do this. You know you have to go and do this, you know you have to go. Your whole body is working on that. And it keeps this flesh alive. So let us treat and study why we sleep in the day. And it's a sign that you don't have a drive for any kind of accomplishment. And you need to work on that. Even when you sleep at night, why do you sleep? You sleep the same thing and get up because you don't have a drive. Because when you have a drive, your drive tells you when to go to bed and when to get up. Because time is anchored to life. And the more you sleep, the more time develops to age. And age develops to the grave. That is the call to eternity. And let's be concerned about how we waste our time sleeping. How you waste even your day. Your day is even not useful to you. A whole day, you didn't do anything with yourself. And this will help anyone. And I pray for all of you that the best weekend is the best one you live with Christ. And build a service capacity. And I wish you all the best of week and weekend in Jesus' name. God bless you.
Heard it all from God's servants. The take home for this weekend is what drives your mind drives your life. So be careful what fuels your drive, because it feeds your life. That's why we say here, life is beautiful. You, my friend, can handle it. We'll see you at the wrap-up section on Monday at 7 a.m. God bless you and enjoy your weekend.